Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Kemet Messiah Academy. So, the performance task for grade 6 is behind us, and we're looking now towards the curriculum based test for grade 6 and the performance task for grades 4 and 5. So, we're going to run through the language arts performance task 2024, and tomorrow we're also going to look at the mathematics performance task 2024. So just to tuck those away, go through them, tuck them away, and so we can move forward to the curriculum based test. We're dedicating the month of April, which is my month, my birth month. We're dedicated April to the curriculum based tests as well as to the grade 4 and grade 5 performance test. So I'm going to share my screen so we can start going through the paper, and I'm going to ask Amari and Abriel, they're waiting backstage to join me on screen. Welcome,
Good evening.
students. Welcome. All right. So this is the language arts paper 2024. All right, Amari, could you go ahead and read the general instructions?
This general instruction. Conservation. General instructions. This task has two parts. Part one has 6 questions. Part two has an essay. Instructions to begin. There are 3 sources. Read the sources carefully, then use them to answer the question in part one, as well as to write your essay in part two. Introduction to task. Your teacher gave you 3 sources to con. Miss, Miss, what does that word say, Miss?
Hmm? To
Miss, what does that? To
conduct a research.
to conduct a research on water conservation. Read the sources on page 3, 4, and 5 carefully, then use them to answer the questions that follow in part 1 and part 2. Water conservation. General instructions. This task has 2 parts. Part 1 has 6 questions. Part 2 has an essay. Instructions to begin. There are 3 sources. Read the sources carefully, then use them to answer the question in part 1, as well as to write your essay in part 2. Introduction to task. Your teacher gave you the 3 sources to conduct a research on water conservation. Read the sources on page 3, 4, and 5 carefully, then
Pages.
use them to answer the questions that follow in part 1 and part 2. Miss, I'm finished.
Thank you. So that's pages 3, 4, and 5. So source 1 is a pie chart showing average water usage in homes, and you can look at the color code for the keys. We have bathing and showering, kitchen and drinking, cleaning, laundry, and toilet, flushing the toilets, right? So the blue is bathing and showering, the orange, kitchen and drinking, the gray is cleaning. Am I seeing it properly? The yellow is laundry and the red is toilet. I think that's what I'm seeing. So
Yes,
there's a
miss.
close up. There's a
Mr.
close up.
Yellow is toilet and the red is no. The yellow is laundry and the red is toilet, miss.
Yeah. So here's a close up of the pie chart to show you better. All right. Now, source two. Abriel, can you read source two, please?
Yes, Miss. Um, National Water Commission conservation facts and tips. Approximately 10% of the water used in homes is wasted because of leaks. Approximately 10% of the water used in homes is wasted because of leaks.
All right. So this is a
Well,
simple diagram, simple picture.
Miss,
Yes, Abriel?
I don't know if Amari told you, Miss, but Miss, we got the same exact paper for that, Miss.
I know, Abriel. That's what we're doing. I said that. All right.
Miss, I didn't hear you.
Okay. So, Abriel, read source three. Hold on. I skipped something. Read. So what we need, what we can do to help: use less water, fix leaks, collect rainwater. Right? What we can do to help reduce the consumption of water: use less water to do whatever we're doing, fix the leaks, the leaky faucets, collect rainwater. And we can use rainwater to do lots of things.
Yes, Miss, but you can also attract mosquitoes.
Well, it depends on how you store it. Once you close the containers and keep it in a safe place, you're good. All right, so Abriel, please read source three, the first part of source three.
Why conservation is everybody's business. Water conservation is normally taken more seriously during the dry period, but it should be an everyday practice. Water is important to all of us, so we need to conserve it. The National Water Commission is urging citizens to practice water conservation as part of their daily habit. There is opportunity for persons to save water when doing daily routines, such as using the bathroom and washing dishes. Studies show that water use in an average household can be reduced by 30% by simply practicing conservation methods. These include harvesting rainwater, recycling water, and reducing our daily water usage. Additionally, there is a tendency to place water storage tanks on roofs. They are best suited on the ground or at low levels. This ensures that even if the water pressure is low, water can still flow into the tanks. This helps us to better store water. We still have to manage how we use it. Water Why water conservation is everyone's business. Water conservation is normally taken more seriously during the dry period, but it should be an everyday practice. Water is important to all of us, so we need to conserve it. The National Water Commission is urging citizens to practice water conservation as part of their daily habit. There is opportunity for persons to save water when doing daily routines, such as using the bathroom and washing dishes. Studies show that water use in an average household can be reduced by 30% by simply practicing conservation methods. This includes harvesting rainwater, recycling water, and reducing our daily water usage. Additionally, while there is a tendency to place water storage tanks on roofs, they are best suited they are best suited underground or at low levels. This ensures that even if the water pressure is low, water can still flow into the tanks. This helps us to better store water. We still have to manage how we use it.
Thank you, Abril.
You're welcome, Miss.
All right, Amari, next slide, please.
Okay, Miss. Water shortage is a global issue affecting approximately 27% of the world's population. Reports from the World Wildlife Organization indicate that 2.7 billion people worldwide experience water scarcity
Scarcity.
during at least 1 month every year. Jamaica has two rainy seasons, with maximum rainfall occurring in October and the secondary rainfall period in May. However, due to climate change, Jamaica does not always get high levels of rainfall in October and May, leading to drier periods and water shortages. Information from the Ministry of Economics, Growth and Job Creation indicates that the collection of water in all major water sources has fallen dramatically within the last year. A large portion of the water used in Jamaica is for agricultural purposes. This means that farmers will be negatively affected by dry periods. Water shortage is a global issue affecting approximately 27% of the world's population. Reports from the World Wildlife Organization indicate that 2.7 billion people worldwide experience water
Scarcity.
scarcity during at least 1 month every year. Jamaica has two rainy seasons, with maximum rainfall occurring in October and the secondary rainfall period in May. However, due to climate change, Jamaica does not always get high levels of rainfall in October and May, leading to drier periods and water shortages. Information from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation indicates that the collection of water in all major water sources has fallen dramatically within the last year. A large, pro- a large portion of the water used in Jamaica is for agricultural purposes. This means that farmers will be negatively affected by dry periods. Miss, I'm finished.
Thank you. Abril.
Yes, Miss. Use the sources on pages 3, 4, and 5 to help you answer the questions in this section. Number 1. According to source 1, which activity uses the most water in the house? in the home. Number two, which two sources suggest that a change in habits may help in the conservation of water? Use the sources on pages 3, 4, and 5 to help you answer the questions in this section. Number 1. According to the source,
The
according to
source
source 1, which activity uses the most water in homes? Number 2. Which two sources suggest that a change in habits may help in conservation of water?
Thank you.
Miss,
Yes,
Miss
Abraham.
number one, Miss, it would
Mm-hmm.
be Miss bathing and
So let's
showering.
go on. So that's the blue, right? Bathing
Yes,
and showering. Do you agree, Amari?
Yes, Miss.
So bathing and showering is what percent?
Miss Bathing and showering is 35%, Miss.
And
Miss the second highest would be the toilet,
which is
cause it's
what?
30%, Miss.
All right, so they're pretty close,
mhm.
but it's bathing and showering. So that's for number one. All right, so and for the second part now, we're going to need to go to tell them which two sources
Miss source one and source two. No, Miss
does
source two and
just,
source three.
oh, because I don't remember seeing anything in source one that talks about changing the habits. Source one is just telling us what the habits are. Is that so?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. Source
Yes,
one is
Miss.
just saying these are the different ways we use water in the homes. It's not, well, hold on. Was there another part? Oh no, it was source two. So source two now is telling us about leaks and how they contribute to water loss, water usage in the home. 10% of the water used is actually water that's not used, but is just going down the drain from leaks. And this says, what can we do to help, right? So this is how we can
Use
change our habits.
use less water,
Less
fix
water,
leaks,
fix the leaks,
collect
and
rainwater.
collect rainwater. All right, so we know definitely source two is in. What identify which section of source three talks about changing our habits? So come through
Miss where it says
which paragraph?
studies Miss 3.
All right, so where it says what?
Studies show that water use in average household can be reduced by 30% by simply practicing conservation methods.
All right,
This including harvesting rainwater, recycling water, and reducing our daily water usage.
okay. So source two is telling us if we start doing these things, which is a change in habit, if we start doing these things, we can reduce water usage by 30%. So for question two, it is sources. Which sources? Which two?
Miss source 2 and source 3.
Sources two and three. All right. So it said there were 6 questions, so we've done two already in part A. All right,
Miss
Amari. Yes, Abigail.
Miss, can I answer the questions?
Yes, you can answer the question. Well, read. Let Amari read that first, and then you answer.
Amari, are you reading?
Amari,
Yes, miss.
sorry. Did you read what's on the screen?
No, miss. Miss, I didn't hear you.
Oh, all right. Can you read what question 3, please?
Okay, miss. Number 3. Information on which of the following is evident in all three sources? Water usage, water storage, water conservation. Number 3. Information on which of the following is evident in all three sources? Water usage, water storage, water conservation. Miss, for that, I would say water usage, miss.
Water usage. What do you say, Abriel?
Miss, I chose one water conservation, miss.
Water conservation. All right, let's see. Which of the following is evident in all three sources? So Amari says water usage, and Abriel says water conservation. What makes you say water usage, Amari?
Miss,
Here we have
because when I was looking at it, miss, in the first one, it's all about water usage, miss. And it doesn't have anything about water storage or water conservation, miss.
okay, and source 2.
Miss, source 2, miss, it says, miss, could you go back on source 2, please?
This is source 2 as well.
Oh, miss, it says, oh, miss, could you flip the page, please?
That
Yes, miss. Miss, it says on the first one, miss, on the first one, it said something about that people use 10%.
due to leaks,
Approximately 10% of water
due to
is used.
leaking pipes. So so this is about usage as well as conservation, right? But you're saying one was only about usage, and two, three, sorry, three is about
Miss, it's
conservation.
about conservation. And
Um,
miss, it says, miss, it says, we still have to manage how we use it, miss.
wait, which paragraph? Oh, here.
Miss, at the last part, miss.
Okay, how we use it. So conservation and usage. What were the options? Usage, storage. All right. So Abriel, why did you say conservation?
Miss, can you go back to source 2, miss? Miss, source 1.
So that's source 1.
Miss, although it says average water usage in homes, miss, you can see, miss, that miss, it needs to, miss, the amount of water used in homes, miss, it needs to be lessened, miss.
But you can make that assumption, or you can, from your analysis, you can conclude that, but the information given is not about conservation. The information is just saying this is what the water is used for. Whether you want to interpret it to say, all right, if the water is being used for that and that and that, some conservation can take place or should take place. But the chart itself is just talking about usage. This is what the water is used for. It's not recommending that it be conserved. It's not giving you any guidelines on how to conserve. It's just saying this is what it is used for. So on this one, Abriel, I'm gonna agree with Amuri because all
Miss,
three of them are about usage, but not all three of them talk about conservation or storage. Yes, Abriel?
Miss, I got that question wrong.
Who to tell?
Miss,
I'm gonna go with you said, yes?
Miss, what did you say?
No, I'm saying who to tell. Who to tell that you're not the one who's right. Or Abriel, read questions 4 and 5, please.
Identify one text feature used in source 3. Give two pieces of evidence, one from source 2 and one from source 3, that indicate that water is being wasted in the home. Identify one text feature used in source 3. Give two types of evidence, one from source 2 and one from source 3, that indicate that water is being wasted in the home. Miss, for number 4, Miss, it would be bold.
Yeah, that came to mind when I saw it.
Miss,
So
that's what I put, Miss. I put it as bold type. Miss, I
for what?
wrote one. Miss, for
Both.
number 4, Miss.
No,
Miss,
so no, I'm asking where in the passage. So would it be this?
yes, Miss.
Okay, so we have so the text features are anything in the text that
That
is used
highlight.
to highlight the information, right? Like bullet
Miss, some people.
points, asterisks. Go ahead, Abriel.
Miss, after the exam, Miss, some of the classmates, Miss, they were saying that that was wrong, and some of them were saying they don't know what that is.
So what did they put? The ones who said it was wrong, what did they
Miss,
put?
some of them said they put brackets, Miss,
Rockets or
brackets, Miss.
brackets?
Yes, Miss.
Um,
And Miss,
yeah.
some of them just said they put something.
The most obvious one here is the bold type, right?
Yes,
It's
Miss.
clearly it stands out and is something that is you. If the title has bold type, because they want the title to stand out, so you can say this is what the passage is about, and they definitely want us to see 2.7 billion people worldwide experience water scarcity. They want that to stand out in our minds, so they put it in bold type. All right, and how about number 5?
Miss. Miss, I used information from the sources, Miss. Miss, I'd have to look back at them.
All right, so read again what they want us to do for number 5.
Give one piece of evidence from one from source 2 and one from source 3 that indicate that water is being wasted in the home.
All right, so we need one from source 2. Well, this definitely stands out, don't
Yes, Miss, that's
approximately
something
10.
I
Yes,
wrote,
Miss.
Miss.
So
Miss,
we
that's
will
what I
put this in quotation marks because we're going to quote it directly
Miss,
from
I
the
put
source,
it in quotation marks, Miss.
right? Approximately 10% of the water used in homes is wasted because of leaks, right? So definitely that stands out. Or and also this fix leaks. So this by itself is telling us that there are leaks, but this one is the best one, the better one, and that's source 2. So let's go to source 3. Where does it talk about water being wasted? So you really have to go back, especially the sources that are more worded, like this article here. You have to take your time and comb through it to find the best data. Don't just grab the first one you see. There might be better ones in the passage. So take your time and read through. So do you see anything popping up yet about wasting water?
Miss, miss, it could be that. Miss, if you miss, it shows that um water use in an average household can be reduced by 30% by simply practicing conservation methods, miss.
All right, let's look at the second part of source 3 first to see if there's anything.
Miss, I don't see anything in this one that says waste of water, miss.
All right, so let's all right. So I'm already saying we'll go with this paragraph 3. And you can paraphrase as well. You can take the gist of the information and reword it, put it in your own words, and keep the essence of it. That's
Miss, the part
paraphrasing.
that's highlighted, miss, with the two
Mhm.
lines at the side, miss, that's what
Yeah,
I wrote
right.
for
So
source.
Amari is saying that's the one as well. So that was question 5. All right. Question 6, Abriel.
Miss, didn't I just read?
I'm not
Um,
keeping track, so you can read again. I lost
no,
track.
miss, I read number 4 and 5, miss.
You don't want to read number 6?
No, miss.
All right, Amari, number 6, please.
Okay, miss. With write two pieces of evidence from source 3 that indicate that there are factors apart from conservation affecting the availability of water. 6. Write two pieces of evidence from source 3 that indicate that there are factors apart from conservation affecting the availability of water.
Okay, Genesis, welcome.
Hi, miss.
Hi. So they're sending us back to source 3 and we're to find evidence. How many pieces? Hold on, let me double check.
Miss
Uh,
2.
two pieces of evidence that indicate that there are other factors apart from conservation. There are other factors that affect the availability of water. What are the other factors other than conservation?
Miss, I took my information, miss, from miss the bottom part of source 3. Miss, not the bottom part, miss. Miss, right where it says miss, right, yes, miss, bottom part. A large portion of water is used in Jamaica. A large portion of the water used in Jamaica is for agricultural purposes. This means that farmers will negatively affect will be negatively affected by dry periods.
So which part of
Miss,
it?
I put
So,
that also, and Miss, I
so,
put
so the
Mr.
dry
last part,
periods are
and
what?
Mr. also put
Miss, when I took
Mr.
information,
periods
Miss,
with
What
no
name do we use
water.
for the dry period?
Miss,
What
when
word
I
we
took
use?
Drought.
Miss,
Drought.
Miss,
So
but
we're
I took
saying,
dry period.
Abriel,
Miss,
what
for
are
the
you?
other one,
Hold on a minute. Abriel, what are you saying?
Miss, I know it was drought, Miss, but I just put dry periods.
Okay. So we're saying that the drought affects the dry periods affect the availability of water. There are certain times of the year when we don't get
Miss,
as much
Miss,
rainfall.
when it's so hot, Miss, and there's no water, Miss, and Miss,
Yeah.
the farmers are just suffering, Miss, from no water, Miss, and they can't plant crops.
Or give their animals water. All right. So Amari, what was the other one?
Miss, the other one is Miss. Could you go, Miss? Miss, the other one, I put the one where it says with the tanks, Miss, that it helps better to store water when you when you put the tanks on lower grounds, Miss.
All right. Because
Miss,
when
my
they put
other
the
one,
tank when they put the tank high up, the pressure can get low.
Miss, my tank is on the roof, Miss.
I think most people's tanks are on the roof.
Yes, Miss, saws the next house that's beside mine, Miss, it's right there.
But according to this article, they are best to be put on the ground
Yes, Miss,
or
but
on low
Miss,
level.
Miss, I think if it's on the ground, Miss, it will take up some of the space in the yard, Miss.
Okay.
Miss, but when it's upstairs, Miss, on the roof, Miss, it saves the space that is downstairs, Miss.
That is true.
Although, Miss, it will be harder for water to reach into the tanks.
Yeah,
Like,
because the pressure, so the water pressure can go really low sometimes, and it might
Miss,
feel like
I
there's a
think that's the problem,
shortage.
Miss.
Yeah,
Miss, we need to put the tanks, Miss, on the lower levels, Miss, so the water can actually go like forward, Miss, instead of
mm,
having to go up, Miss, and then when the water pressure is low, Miss, you don't get any water.
right.
Miss, so you have to
So
save waters and catch water in pans, Miss.
right. So we're going with so the two reasons would be you would elaborate, right, when you're actually writing. But I'm just gonna put the dry periods. You would elaborate on it. Dry period and putting tanks on lower ground because the tanks are typically on high ground and it can affect the availability of water. The
Miss,
pressure can get really low.
Miss, what I realized, Miss, in my neighborhood, Miss, almost every house, Miss, has water tanks on their roof, Miss, except for this one beside me. It has it on the lower level, Miss.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can ask your neighbor um, what the experience is like to have it on the lower level if the pressure is much better.
Miss, but I think, Miss, you would get more water, Miss. Like,
Well,
just a
yeah,
bit more than what you would get when the water pressure is low, Miss, and it's up on the roof.
mm, you can ask your neighbor for a comparison. Um, Genesis, could you read part two, please? Genesis, all right. Amari, part two, please.
Miss, I'm supposed to read. Miss, I'm supposed to fix. I just read.
Guys,
Part
it's
2. Instructions. Read the task below and the information about what to include in your essay, then begin your work. Task. Write an essay explaining 3 things you can do at home to conserve water. Your essay must include evidence from 2 of the sources. You may also include your own experiences. When you write your essay, remember that it should have an introduction and conclusion. Stay on the topic. Use details from 2 of the sources to support your opinion. Give details from the sources in your own words. Follow the rules of writing, spelling, punctuation, and grammar usage. Part 2 instructions. Read the task below and the information about what to include in your essay. Then begin your work. Task. Write an essay explaining 3 things you can do at home to conserve water. Your essay must include evidence from 2 of the sources. You may also include your own experiences. When you write your essay, remember that it should have an introduction and conclusion. Stay on the topic. Use details from 2 of the sources to support your opinion. Give details from the sources in your own words. Follow the rules of writing, spelling, punctuation. Follow the rules of writing, spelling, punctuation, and grammar usage. Miss Anthony.
thank you.
Miss, Miss, what I used to help me, Miss. What, Miss, what I said, Miss. I had my introduction, Miss. Miss, where it says in source 2, Miss, where it says um ways to conserve water, Miss.
Mm.
Miss, I used those, and I was telling Miss, I was writing about why we should conserve the water, Miss, and why we should fix leaks, Miss.
Okay.
Miss, but
Miss
my
Anthony.
first paragraph is about leaks and fixing the leaks.
So, 3 things that we can do at home to conserve water.
Miss, we can
And
fix the leaks.
Miss, I use source 2. Miss, I use the point from source 2 to
so, this
answer,
is
Yes,
to write
Miss.
the essay
Miss,
lesson and
that's what I
summary
conserve
use.
source.
water, fix the leaks, and
Collect
collect rainwater.
rain.
Miss
Miss,
collect
but my
rainwater.
first paragraph, Miss, my first paragraph was about fixing the leaks, Miss, and then
Mm.
use less water. And then the last one about was about collecting rainwater.
All right. What did you use? Did you use anything from source 2, 3?
Yes, miss. Miss, I
Because
Yes,
remember,
use
Miss,
I
I
if you
said
used
keep,
mostly
Miss, I
from
use if
two
you keep your
sources.
tanks on the floor, you have more water pressure. Miss, I use that. And miss,
How does that oh, that's so you would quote the part from it that's the
miss,
this
yes,
helps
miss, I quoted it.
store water, and we will have this helps us to store the water, right?
Miss, for me,
But we,
Miss, I
we
used the
still have
part
to
above
manage
it.
how we use it.
Miss, I used the words, Miss,
Miss, I
from
said,
Just a
the
minute,
next
Abril. So
to
Amari,
miss,
the tank
I
situation.
said, Miss, I was
Was that
saying that, Miss,
concern?
I put if you, Miss, I put if you use, if you put the tank on the lower levels, you can save more water pressure and you can ensure
Hold
that
on.
there's
Does it help
water
us to
for.
save more water? I'm just asking, does it help us to save water, or it just
No,
help us store the
Miss
water?
increase the Miss, yes, Miss, I put two. Miss, I put that you could store the water, Miss, for another day that you need it, Miss.
Okay. April, what were you saying? You had something to add, April?
yes, Miss. I was saying That Miss, I use the part where it says studies show, Miss, but I wrote it in my own words.
So studies show. Oh, here. Okay. Paragraph
Yes,
3
Miss.
can be reduced
Miss,
by
but I
30.
didn't use the part where it says these include harvesting rainwater, recycling water, and reducing our daily water usage, Miss.
So you use the first part,
Yes, Miss. And then I used my own words.
but it's the second part that tell us what to do though. The first part does tell us that there are things we can do to reduce usage. But it's the
Yes,
second part
Miss. That's what I'm
that
saying, Miss. Miss, I wrote that, Miss, and then I started using my own. Miss, I started writing the Miss, this information where it says these include, Miss, but in my own words.
oh, okay. All right. So the paper was good. It was a good paper. What you guys
Yes,
think about the paper? It was a nice paper.
Yes, I think it was good
Miss, are
too.
we going to go through the maths paper, Miss?
Huh?
Miss, are we going to go through the maths paper?
Tomorrow.
Okay, Miss.
Yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. But this was
Miss,
a
it looks like
sweet paper.
Miss, it
It
looks
looks
like
like
no
it's
one wants to
early
join
today.
classes
It,
anymore.
I'm not here. I didn't hear the last part.
Miss, I said, Miss, it looks like no one wants to join the live classes anymore.
Oh well, I think it's just because they got the exam out of the way and they kind of chilling until next week. They start up back again.
Miss, they probably forgot about the class, Miss, and they're saying, I don't need to join live classes no more. PEP finished. It's what they have our
Well,
next exam coming.
they know, they're just cooling out. Jamaicans we like to chill out after
Miss only
anything big with
Genesis
chill
came,
out.
Miss, but she came for a short while, Miss.
Yeah, I realize.
It looks like she was having bad connection or something.
All right. Well, the good thing is that these videos are there on the channel forever. So even if you miss it, you can always go and check it out. They're all there waiting. So I'll see you scholars tomorrow.
Well, this one ended really early today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because as I
this
say,
is
it's
such
a
a
nice
fast
sweet little paper.
yes, miss. This is such a fastest paper so far, 48 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the
Maybe the
maths
month
tomorrow going to take us slow.
Okay. Bye, miss.
See you
See you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, miss.
Bye, April. Bye, Amari.